Yeah. Yo. Mic check, outcast, dropping the Holy Ghost prayer. Armor of God on, truth in the air. This ain't just talk, it's a call to the brave. We break chains while they dig their own graves. From the swamp to the shadows, we light up the lies. Eyes wide open, no fear in our eyes. Family first, but we ride for the nation. Exposing the snakes with righteous indignation.
Brother Jaymz on the mic with the red pill flame. Got facts like thunder, truth in the name. Hard work, heartland, boots in the soil. We ain't for sale, we ain't touching snake oil. Call out the cabal, corrupt and obscene. While they sell the dream, we wipe the screen clean. Waking up normies with every line. It's dangerous info, welcome to the front line.
We were blessed in the battle, we never back down. Two lions with mics, shake the underground. They censor, they smear, but we still talk. With God as our guide, we walk what we talk. Truth on the airwaves, soul to soul. We break their control, that's the goal. From dusk till dawn, yeah, we carry the flame. It's dangerous info, remember the name. Lord, let the truth be heard, let eyes be open. We speak not for fame, but for freedom. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast, blessed in the battle.
Our institutions have become corrupt. Unconstitutional agencies are infringing on your rights. Your liberty was secured by strong men and women of yesterday. We live in the age of disinformation and corporate propaganda. You're an American, born with unalienable rights. Yet those rights are being trampled every day by unelected busybodies. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast with Jesse Jaymz and Outcast. Dangerous. Stay blessed in the battle.
Now, what have we learned so far tonight? We have learned that we are living at the end of a generation, and we have learned that there is a world government system coming in. They want a world government system controlled by the two countries of the United States of America and the Soviet Union in conjunction with the European community, which is forming up by the year 1992. Now, with all that information to hand, we're ready to go ahead and see what their plans are. Plan number one is to cancel cash as we know it today. And strangely enough, they have chosen my country, New Zealand, and Australia across the Tasman Sea as the first two countries to bring about this cashless society. The first reason is that we start the computers every day. Number two, we are very slack people. By that I mean psychologically we're very laid back. No one worries about a thing. Number three reason is they are island nations. You can't get through the borders very easily to another country without going through the customs and immigration. You can't sneak across the border. You see, we've got sea all around us. Number four reason is we are very small populations. 3.5 million in New Zealand, 17 million in Australia, very easy to manipulate and very easy to play the fool with. In 1984 I wrote Second Warning, and in there I've got a statement by a man called Professor Charles Birch of a group called the Club of Rome, and he said Australia would make an admirable test case. Let me show you an astounding poster from the Australian-New Zealand Bank. Here it is. Here is an official poster, and I'm facing it towards the video over here. It shows an empty wallet upside down laughing, and it is saying these words, "Welcome to the cashless society." There it is. It couldn't be more clear. In fact, that poster says far more than I will ever say in a meeting. There it is. Welcome to the cashless society.
Happy New Year, Patriots! It's 2025, and the PSYOP continues. Join Jesse Jaymz and Outcast as they dial into the truth so you can keep your head on a swivel and guard your heart from the bogus fear they're trying to throw at us every day. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast. Dangerous Info Podcast.
Oh, yes, everybody. Welcome. It's Monday night, June 2nd, 2025. That's right, June, the year, the month of the Constitutional Month is what I'm saying. It is another Monday night, you guys. Welcome to the spiritual and the cultural battle of our lives. Truth is dangerous. Information is a weapon. Welcome to the Dangerous Info Podcast, where we talk politics, culture, survival preparedness in this crazy world. That's right, you guys. We're trying to build our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube following. So please find Dangerous Info Podcast over there on Instagram, Facebook, and brand new to YouTube tonight for the first time ever. Please hit that follow button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that stuff. You guys know what to do. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Tonight, we have a big show. That's right, episode number 210, you guys. Lose your spouse, lose your house. Featuring Karla Wagner from AxMITax Michigan. It's going to affect all the other states too, so it's going to be a good one tonight. I see everybody filing here in all the chat rooms. Believe it or not, we have a couple of people over there on our brand new YouTube channel. So guys, go over there and check it out. Outcast, we're probably going to have to tiptoe as much as we can tonight, brother. We got to be very creative by whatever we're saying, so...
No promises on my end.
No promises. And, because we're trying to reach out to a few of these normie sites. That's why I added Facebook like a month ago. That's why I added YouTube tonight. So we're trying to broaden the horizons without getting kicked off of these platforms, right? So obviously we still have our Rumble, Twitch, Pill.net, BitChute, and again, Facebook and YouTube tonight. So if we have to shut something off like a YouTube or a Facebook, I can always cut that off if we have to get into some deep talks. That's what I'm saying. But welcome everybody in. I see everybody's filing in here. It's a good evening here in Michigan. You know what, Outcast? When I was working today, I was outside enjoying this blue sky. It was not hot. It was not cold. It was just perfect. And then I smelled all the lilacs. All the spring flowers were everywhere. And, I was thinking to myself, as I was working, I was looking around. It was like I felt like a kid in the 1980s again. It just felt that way. It wasn't, again, perfect. The humidity was not high at all. It was great, man. I loved it. It was just, I don't know how it made you feel, but I was outside this morning enjoying the heck out of it.
Well, it's funny you say that because I went for a bike ride yesterday, and I don't have a good nose. I don't smell that good. But, man, I was picking up on all these subtle, really good natural plant smells everywhere I was riding my bike. And I was just like, wow. And I had a childhood flashback, too, because I was like, I think when my nose was better back then when I was a kid, and I was just like, wow, this feels like it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's exactly what it used to or feels like. Today, that's what brought me back. I was like, man, where is my mongoose? I wish I had that mongoose bike right now or my skateboard or something, But that's the kind of morning it was. So, I appreciate that, and I welcome that, especially here. It's been a cold, rainy springtime. So, listen, you guys, welcome. Let's see, Music Lover. She is one of the mods over there on our brand new YouTube. And she says, welcome, friends. If you got a like button, please hit that like, share with your friends. We are glad you're here. That's right. And you'll see we have LS1 Forever. He's in the chat room right there in YouTube, too. So a couple of our moderators are there hanging out, looking for people to come in and welcome you guys into the show on this brand new platform. So, Outcast, we have a lot of people mixed up in a lot of different places, and I welcome everybody here to hang out, give us your ideas. We're going to go over some things. I'm going to bring some new stuff today, Outcast, that people probably haven't heard of because I barely heard of it. I just caught it. But we are going to do our supporter shout out at the end of the show. So please don't let me forget. All right.
Oh, I'll try not to. Yeah.
All right. Somebody don't let me forget because I want to switch that over to the end of the show as we say our goodbyes at 9:00. So what I have here, Outcast, did you say you did not like the smell of lilacs?
No, I like lilacs. I have a big lilac tree next to my kitchen.
Okay. Because if you said you didn't like it, I'm going to cut your mic off. So
no, I like it.
All right. So listen, what I wanted to say to everybody is first to you, Outcast. Do you remember, there's always operations. If you think back in history, there's a lot of operations planning that goes into things by people that are way, way, way up here. Okay. That are controlling finger puppets, controlling, the way that governments work, controlling culture, all these, you know what I'm saying? Controlling all these types of things. Right. So there is something new that I've found. Now, if you remember, they go back and they practice certain things, how to engage the media, how they're going to engage the public, how they're going to engage people who stand up and do not want to comply with their tyrannical orders and all that, right? Well, can you think of any of those operations that have happened, or those practice things that, seminars and all that have happened in the past? Can you name one? Can you name two?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here.
Yes.
I know the name of them. Dang it. I know that there was there's a whole bunch of them. They run a couple of them in LA right before COVID, I think, didn't they?
Well, there's the one you're probably talking about is the Event 201.
Thank you. Yeah.
Remember, so that's the one that was it preempted the scamdemic, the Corona beer flu, and that was in October of 2019, and that was with the Bill Gates Foundation, the John Hopkins. There were some other ones that I'm forgetting right now, but they're big outfits and they plan all these things. Oh, the WHO, the World Health Organization, all these people, right? All these people that don't exist because they're all just a conspiracy theory. So they game planned all that, right? They game planned all that. I found their paperwork. I found the online. I found the squeeze toy that they had for it. It was a little fake little squeeze toy, of a coronavirus.
A stress squeezy?
Yeah. So they had all that in their package. It's like, when you go to a concert and you pay extra money for the VIP and you get a bag full of, your raincoat and a bottle opener and, all the stuff they'd put in there. Well, I found a brand new one and I got to go here and find it because Event 201 took place, right? And that was the whole preemptive plan for what they were going to do when they rolled out just a few months later, the whole, what they call coronavirus, right? Remember that stuff? So, of course you do. So can you think of another one here while I'm looking for something? Can you think of any?
No, dude, you're killing me right now. I cannot think of the names
from
of these
2010. There's one from 2010 that happened.
No, I don't know. I know
Operation Lockstep. Remember that one? Yep. Okay, so that was like so many years ahead of what they wanted to accomplish sometime in the future with the public. Well, guess what they did? That was Operation Lockstep, and they did that with the public using a lot of those plans. Now, that was the Rockefellers. That was, all these other elites, right, that go ahead and try to plan for our futures. And Bilderbergs, all these people. Well, I found this brand new one. And I'm looking for the the infographic that I had sitting here. And now what did I do with it? You probably came over here and did something to it. It's called Exercise Polaris. Okay. So I want to get into it. Exercise Polaris. I'm going to have to click on this thing because make a brand new one. So yes, here we go. Okay, Outcast, are you ready? This is it right here. Up on the screen right now, you guys. We have right there. The WHO brings countries together to test collective pandemic response. Sounds just like it did when they did Event 201 for Corona. Okay?
Yep.
COVID. Here we go. I'm going to read it. It's only like a 2-minute read. Now check this out. It was released April 4th of this year. How many people saw this? How many people heard about this? All right.
Very few.
Here we go. I'm going to read it, and you stop me whenever you want, and we'll talk about it. Over the past 2 days, remember now, this is April 4th, 2025, right there on the World Health Organization website. WHO brings countries together to test collective pandemic response. Over the past 2 days, the WHO convened more than 15 countries and over 20 health agencies with, bring that up here, 20 regional health agencies, health emergency networks, and other partners to test for the first time a new global coordination mechanism for health emergencies. Now, remember, they just passed that health thing that we didn't want, right? They passed it without the United States in it right now. So that's going to come up. The 2-day simulation, Exercise Polaris, tested WHO's Global Emergency Corps, the GHEC, a framework designed to strengthen countries' emergency workforce, coordinate deployment of surge teams and the experts, and enhance collaboration between companies or countries. You understand how this is starting to feel right now? The exercise simulated an outbreak of a fictional virus spreading across the world. Dang, this sounds like a movie. Participating countries including Canada, Colombia, Costa Rica, Denmark, Ethiopia, Germany, Iraq, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mozambique, Nepal, Pakistan, Qatar, Somalia, Uganda, and Ukraine. Of course, Ukraine's in there. And additional countries as observers. Each country participated through its national health emergency coordination structure and worked under real-life conditions to share information, align policies, and activate their response. You see what I'm saying? They're like this, Outcast. They're hand in glove, whatever you want to call it. Regional and global health agencies and organizations, including Africa CDC, European CDC, the IFRC, IOM, UNICEF, and established emergency, all the players right there, and established emergency networks such as the Global Outbreak Alert and Response Network, the Emergency Medical Teams Initiative, standby partners, and the International Association of National Public Health Institutes. They all work together to support country-led responses. More than 350 health emergency experts connected globally through this exercise. Here's a quote. It says, this exercise proves that when countries lead and partners connect, the world is better prepared, said Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus or whatever, that dictator, that Marxist that he is. You know the guy. He looks like a Mexican guy with a big mustache, with the big glasses. We've shown him on here before. He says, no country can face the next pandemic alone. Exercise Polaris shows that global cooperation is not only possible, it is essential. Throughout the simulations, countries led their own response efforts while engaging with WHO for coordination. You see that? They got their teams together in the countries. Now they're waiting for Mr. Bossman to tell us, what are we going to do now? Let's keep going. The exercise, the exercise provided a rare opportunity for governments to test preparedness in a realistic environment, one where trust and mutual accountability were as critical as speed and capacity. See, they don't want us thinking, rallying up, and getting ready to do not comply. Here's another quote. This one says, the exercise sought to put into practice the procedures for interagency response to international health threats. Efficient coordination and interoperability processes are key to guaranteeing timely interventions in health emergencies, said Dr. Mariela Marvin, Vice Minister of Health of Costa Rica, thanking the Pan American Health Organization for their support and the members of the National Risk Management System for their engagement. I have only like 2.5 paragraphs left. Another quote. Polaris demonstrated the critical importance of cultivating trust before crisis occurs, said Dr. Soha Al-Bayat from Qatar. The foundation of our collaborative efforts is significantly stronger than in years past because they learned from us last time. Here we go, Outcast. So we move beyond reactive measures and now are proactively anticipating, aligning, and coordinating our cross-border emergency response plans. Sounds like they learned a lot during the whole COVID pandemic when we said, don't comply and get out of here with all that crap. It's almost over here. Here's another quote. The Global Health Emergency Corps has evolved into a powerful platform building on practice, trust, and connection, said Dr. Mike Ryan, Executive Director of WHO's Health Emergencies Program. Exercise Polaris showed that what is possible when countries operate with urgency and unity, supported by well-connected partners. It is a strong signal that we are collectively more ready than we were. He means more ready than they were in the past. Here's the final sentences here. At a time when multilateralism is under pressure and preparedness is often framed through a national lens, Exercise Polaris reaffirmed that health is a global issue, Outcast. That's what they want you to think. Wow. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the one thing that keeps coming to my mind is that I think they underestimate even the normies' willingness to participate in something like this again. Now, don't get me wrong. I saw a woman today with a full mask on and
Dang.
the whole bit. So they're out there. Don't get me wrong. But there are people out there that recognize that their children, I even heard it today, I think it was today, somebody had a pet a dog that was aggressive because it was never properly socialized during COVID. Okay. My getting at here is people recognize the damage that was done to their children, even to their pets, to themselves, to their livelihoods. And I don't think people are really excited about this doing, COVID-2, the electric boogaloo so soon.
No.
They might overplay their hands here. I think that they or overestimate people's willingness to participate. I just think that even normies are like, yeah, that was for the birds. I don't think I want to do that again. And they're the type of people that if they want to they get a new job, they want to tell the employers, yeah, I'm going to get here at this time when I want to, and I'm going to leave at this time when I want to. These millennial kids, they only do what they want to, and you can't make them do anything.
Yeah.
So I think there's a whole you got the conspiracy conservative minded who are going to go, screw you, we're not doing it. But I think you might find there's a whole new batch of people who consider themselves liberals or otherwise, and they're not going to be interested, I don't think either. I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I don't eat my words, but does that make sense? Do you vibe that too?
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's just so many different types of people out there who are brainwashed in different capacities. That's the problem here. So, I mean, like you said, we still see masked up people. And, I still see them every day today. Today I was driving next to one, and I don't know what style this is or what you call this fashion, but it's the chin mask. It's not strapped on the ears, but they have it down here under their chin.
Oh.
It's like, what the heck is that? What are you doing? You're over there driving with something. What are you, just fashion statement? I don't know what that is. It's so crazy.
Well, it's their way of saying I'm at the ready. When I feel in danger, I'm going to go over my nose.
When I see something coming at me, it's nuts. Is what I'm saying. It's Music Lover says, I also see the fully masked clowns, usually in Costco or something with funky hair. Yeah. But either way, these people, they got together again. These are the people that we always warn about. All right. These Bilderbergers that, go to the all the meetings, the Davos people. That's all these people putting stuff together again because, the World Economic Forum people, they want to put this stuff together to control our futures. This is the Hunger Games trying to rear its ugly head again. All right. But it's going to be us. We're going to keep saying it all over again. Do not comply with any of their crap. But here's the thing, Outcast. With this more AI coming on and more people wearing things on their body that are wireless body area network kind of stuff, that are, using, cashless things. I went to a concert and it's cashless. Guess who didn't participate? I didn't.
You.
No. Nope. I had cash in my pocket. I pulled it out and said, here. I got. No, sorry, sir. We can't take cash. I was like, all right, you're not getting my card. You're not getting my plastic. I'm out. So I'm not doing that. I'm not playing them games because eventually I think one day, Outcast, we will come down to a point where we will have one ultimate choice, and that's it. You're either going to pay for this to eat, or we're going to exterminate you. It's coming to that. Okay, I want to be one of the last holdouts. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm going to be one of the last ones to say, no, I will not comply. Plus a bunch of other flowery letters. That's this whole exercise Polaris. Again, we're getting closer to 2030. The span here between 25 and 28, it's pretty critical. 2030 is their main critical tenure. Okay. They want to reach a certain level with compliance with the, global, worldwide compliance, is what I meant, with people. Now they're going to have trouble with Americans still. They still haven't taken our firearms yet. Good luck with that. And they're going to create more mess in the future, Outcast. We just have a little foot is off the accelerator right now for who knows how long. You know what I mean? Because, there's things that are being signed behind the scenes that we don't know anything about until they're out in front of us and actually taking place and functioning. So, again, if this exercise Polaris doesn't alert some of you guys and make you think about stuff, because think about just a few months before that whole mess in 2020 started, Outcast. If we would have known about Event 21, we could have been hollering about it, right? We could have been, even in the back of my mind, I said, no, this is all coordinated nonsense. But if we knew the actual name like we do right now, how nice would that have been to be able to be on here talking about it like we are now and trying to warn people. Exercise Polaris, you guys. Remember that. And go search it for yourself. See if it maybe it's a hoax, maybe it's not. But it's right there on the WHO's website. So
so that's upcoming, or it already happened?
it happened April 4th.
Oh, jeez. And
Yeah,
lo and behold, what are they talking about right now? Oh, there's a new virus coming in from China.
Yeah, they're pushing that right now. They're pushing that fear, and they're scaring people. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that's the new event. That's the new event 201, right? For who knows this year? When are they going to try to do this? I mean, they're trying to push, but it's wild. It's wild to watch. And hey, we're gonna be ready to fight. We're gonna fight again. Bring it on, you globalist. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're playing the role, Jesse, of the watchman on the wall, and you're sounding the alarm, and that's good. People need to hear this. I remember years ago when credit cards were taken off, and people saying, this is kind of like a precursor to the Mark of the Beast. And people said, no, come on, it's just a credit card. It's not the same thing. The Bible says it's got to be in the head or the hand. No, they said, no, you don't understand. It's a precursor.
Yeah.
And then it went from being a swipe.
Yeah.
Then it went from that to a chip.
Yeah.
And now it's a tap. And we are that close to people going, hell yeah, if I'm just going to tap my card, I could just tap my palm and I'm going to be cool. I'm a cool kid. I'm going to go up to beep, beep.
Remember the video I played months ago with that chick at Whole Foods? All she did was scan her palm over that thing and she was all excited. Right?
Yeah.
Our guest tonight is coming on. She's in a seminar right now. She's out speaking in front of a whole group of people. I spent some time yesterday talking with her, and she's going to be coming on after she's done with that. So we're thinking somewhere after the 8 o'clock hour. So I see people talking about it. And so we're waiting for her to finish up that seminar. When she gets there, or she gets done, she's going to call. So that's what we're waiting for. We are going to take a break here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, Outcast, I want to tell the people about our guests that are coming up here. Next week, you guys, we have Charlie Robinson. If you don't know who the Macroaggressions podcast is, and he's an author. What is it? The Octopus of Global Control. He's the author of that. He's coming on next Monday night. That's going to be a fun one. You guys might recognize Amy from Eyes on the Right podcast, right? She's coming on. I was talking to her today. She's coming on in July, towards the end of July. I've been talking to you guys know who Richard Gage is? He is the guy from Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. He's the one that started that back in like 2005. He's going to be on. We're trying to work out some dates. I've been texting or emailing with his wife, and we're working that out. We have Gary Wayne. He's coming on in November. Laura Singer's coming on November, December. And if you guys didn't hear that song in the beginning, which me and Outcast, we were cracking up. That was our friend JC Hall, and he made that song for us. It's all AI. He wrote the lyrics, put it in there, but that's where that song came from. That's what that was all about. I'm going to try to get an official MP3 of that so we can play it for you guys on the ready. So that was a lot of fun. So thank you, JC, brother. And Outcast, yeah, that was good. Also, Outcast, I forgot to mention, it goes back to the next one, the exercise Polaris and all those things. Real ID is going to be tied to mandatory vaccinations at the end, too. All this stuff is coming together. Okay. So you have the exercise Polaris. They have their plans ready. They know how to handle media, handle people. Thank you, Music Lover. She's saying that the intro song was awesome.
It was. I like it.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm going to see if he can do a couple different versions of it. We need a punk version. We need a country twang version, like a George Strait version. And we need a big hair 80s version of it. I think it'll be good. Awesome. So, we got to stay on track, you guys. It's 7:30 right now. Outcast, we should take our break and do the prayer. And, we'll anticipate Karla. I think she's going to be coming on here. And she's going to, you guys, she's a wind-up toy. She gets on the phone. She's got all these ideas and great information. I talked to her yesterday on the phone for, 40, 45 minutes. And she is fired up. So I can't wait for her to get on here. I'll be texting with her, but she's on stage right now. I can't be messing with her right now. So we have a lot more things to cover. On the other side, I want to talk about this, provoking Russia. What are they trying to do to escalate war in this conflict over there? Because that's what they're doing. Let me see. There is that Real ID thing. There's a lot more to that provoking Russia thing. That is crazy. So we're going to get to all that stuff on the other side. But Outcast, if you want to give us one of your prayers right now, brother, I would have greatly appreciate that.
Dear Heavenly Father, Adonai, Alpha, Omega, the great I am, the one who was and is to come. Lord, we come before your throne humbly. Our heads are bowed at the footstool of your throne. We recognize how utterly magnificent and creative you are for creating this universe and the world that we live in. Lord, you are the God of provision. You are the God of shelter. You're the God of protection. You are the God of healing. You are the God of redemption. Lord, there's no words to express how grateful we are for everything that you've done in our lives. Each one of us out there can think of a multitude of reasons that we should either be dead or on the streets, naked and alone, and we're not because of you. Lord, we thank you for your promise that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. We are asking that you will apply that standard to this podcast tonight. We ask that you anoint the thinking of Jesse and myself and Karla Wagner, and also the listeners out there, everybody that thinks like us and people who like to dig a little deeper and want know a little bit more. We pray that each and every single one of us will look at information in a new way and filter it through your godly truth. Let us not deceive ourselves or anyone else, but rather let truth shine and let your truth be known throughout the world, whether through this podcast or any other means that you want to do it. Lord, we know that you work through the smallest of people and you work through the biggest of people. Oftentimes you show off when we use people that are the least likely to be delivering messages that change people's lives. And we thank you for how you humble the wise, the people who are wise in their own eyes, the degreed, those people who think that they're high and mighty, and yet you take simple and humble people and you shame them with the wisdom and discernment that you give them. And we ask for that wisdom and discernment tonight in this podcast. We thank you, Lord. We ask you for revelation in this podcast. Lord, and we thank you that our prayers and our heart and our giving is seen by you in the kingdom of heaven. Not that we're earning our way anywhere, but we know that from the centurion Cornelius in the book of Acts, Lord, the angel came and visited him and said that his prayers and his generosity were seen as an offering in the kingdom of heaven. And Lord, we thank you for hearing those prayers and those concerns that we have for our fellow man. Today, I'd like to say just a quick, simple prayer for our good friend, Pastor Nelly from the Dancing Toaster podcast. Lord, he's just struggling with some stuff today. He feels like the devil's arrows or fiery arrows are going to pierce him, and he needs the full armor of God, Lord. So give him the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of truth, and the feet of readiness. May he not fall or succumb to any attacks by the evil one. We need him in this fight, Lord. And we know that when the devil comes, you always present an exit strategy. So give him that exit strategy, Lord. We love him and we appreciate him and we want him in this battle. Lord, we thank you for our friend J.C. Hall, who had composed a really cool song for us. And we felt blessed and gifted by that song today. Those lyrics were really cool. Lord, we pray that you'll anoint Karla Wagner tonight. She is, you know her better than anybody, Lord. You knit her together in her mother's womb, but you made a firecracker in this world, Lord. A woman who is not afraid to stand up to what she sees as wrong. Somebody who is bold in the faith and bold in truth. And we thank you that for her willingness to come back on the show and spend time with us and give our listeners new information and new ideas to think about and consider. Lord, I pray for anybody out there who's struggling right now with anything. There's all kinds of pitfalls, waiting for people. The devil is the author of confusion. There's people who just feel like life is slipping between their fingers. They feel defeated. They feel like they just cannot fight anymore. Lord, we pray that you'll invigorate them with the Holy Spirit and you'll lift them up on wings like an eagle. May they soar in your presence, Lord, as children of God who can do vastly more than they can imagine. Don't let the world discourage them, Lord. We know that the devil runs this place here, but he cannot stand up to your truth. So anybody who's struggling out there, Lord, we pray that you'll give them encouragement and boldness. Anybody who's dealing with financial issues, give them a peace and remind them that you are the God of provision and that when we are in your care, we are not for want. So don't let the fear creep in, because fear is from the devil, and peace and gratitude is from you. So help us to just think about all that you've done for us and not think about what's coming down the pike in the future with jobs or the economy or anything else. Lord, I'm kind of babbling here. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking out loud of just if anything else comes to my mind. But if anybody out there is struggling and they just don't know if you're real, Lord, I'm asking that you will reveal yourself to them in such a unique and subtle way that only they would know it's you speaking to them, just to reassure them and cast away their doubts about your existence, Lord. Just because people are going through a bad time, anybody out there listening, and want you to know, and God wants you to know, that doesn't mean he's not with you, and it doesn't mean he doesn't have a plan for you. It means that he's refining you in the fire to make you more precious than gold. He's sifting you. He's hardening you. He's making you ready for the battle. Just as steel is strong, it had to know the hammer in white heat. So help people to understand that adversity doesn't mean that you're punishing them, rather that you are with them in the adversity and you're training them up for something better, a victory that's coming down the pike, Lord. Lord, help us all to analyze ourselves and look inwardly, sift us and show us if there's any pride in our life, any malice in our life, if there's any ingratitude in our life, if there's any hatred or unforgiveness in our life, Lord. Set us free of these burdens. Help us to remember that you forgave us, you healed us, you've done so much for us that there's no reason we should harbor these feelings for anybody else, regardless of what we think they did to us, but rather impress upon us what happened to that person to make them so mean and so vicious if somebody hurt you. So help us to recognize that everybody has a backstory. And if we pray for them, Lord, that you're going to make good things come out of it. And hating somebody, Lord, is only poison to the person who's doing the hating, Lord. So let us relinquish those behaviors and help us to just have forgiveness for any person out there that we feel wronged by, and help us to have love in our hearts. Lord, help us to see other people as you see them, no matter how quirky and weird they may seem sometimes. Help us to see people in the radical, loving way that you see them. Work through us tonight on this podcast. Work into the lives of the listeners. Work through Karla Wagner. Be with us through this whole episode, and know that we love you and we seek to serve you, and we pray that you'll be glorified and magnified. And I pray all these things in Jesus Christ's holy, precious name. Amen.
All right, brother. Thank you. Amen to that. And yeah, after that prayer we had last week, it seemed like it touched a lot of people. You did a good one on that. That was awesome. And really? Brother Jim out there. Hey, he might be watching us tonight, but he's been having a lot of prayers. He's been going through a lot of things. He had a surgery. My mother had her surgery this morning, so everything is doing good. And we appreciate all you guys out there, and Outcast, of course, appreciate you. So that's awesome. Let's go to break right now. And on the other side, we have Angela. What's going on? Angela Hallmark over there on Facebook says, amen. Awesome. All right, guys, let's go to break right now, and we'll get back on the other side. I want to talk about this Russian stuff because it's deeper than the eye can see. It's deeper than the mainstream media is letting you know that it really is. So on the other side of this, you guys, we'll be right back with the Dangerous Info Podcast.
We interrupt your programming with breaking news. It's all fake, every bit of it. The stories, the wars, the outrage, it's all scripted.
Thanks, Deborah. The situation behind me?
None of this is real. The illusion is the event.
It's all trauma-based mind control. I'm just a crisis actor. They pay me in Visa gift cards. I can cry on command.
They had turbans on, and one of them was carrying his prayer rug.
Wait, let's do it again.
We're just here to manufacture consent for all the terrible things your masters want to do to you.
They say the military is at least 30 years ahead in technology. Just imagine the kind of AI they've already developed.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies. Yes, sir.
In 1901, John Dee established the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research. The institute recruited Simon Flexner, a pathology professor at the University of Pennsylvania, to serve as its director. His brother, Abraham, was an educator who was contracted by the Carnegie Foundation to write a report on the state of the American medical education system. His study, the Flexner Report, along with the hundreds of millions of dollars that the Rockefeller and Carnegie Foundations were to shower on medical research in the coming years, resulted in a sweeping overhaul of the American medical system. Naturopathic and homeopathic medicine, medical care focused on unpatentable, unmarketable natural remedies and cures, was now dismissed as quackery. Only drug-based allopathic medicine requiring expensive medical procedures and lengthy hospital stays was to be taken seriously.
We demand better science. If you believe these fake Blue Origin reptilians went to space in their fancy penis rocket, you're a special kind of normie. Come on, people. We deserve better psyops. You're listening to Jesse, James, and Outcast, right here on the Dangerous Info Podcast. Oh, good.
All right, Outcast, welcome back to the show, brother. You know, there's been a lot of stuff going on over the weekend, especially with the so-called Russia's Pearl Harbor. Now, a lot of people, that was going crazy, right? There was a lot of people going off. Now, before we get into that, here's a good comment right here, coming up from our, right here. Sherry's Cleaning. She's out there. Let me make that a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. From AxMITax and Property Taxes Michigan, for homeowners, farmers, and small businesses and renters need to sign and keep your rent down. Go to AxMITax.org. Join, find location, or someone to sign the petition. Volunteers needed and donations. Vote no on all millages. That is correct. And that's that and a lot more that we were talking about last night with Karla. I think tonight is going to be her third, fourth time on. So we got a lot of work to do. And a lot of states can jump in on this too, as are some already. But let's get back to this Russian Pearl Harbor, Outcast. When you first heard about that, what was your immediate thoughts? Because I know I had some immediate thoughts when I heard that Ukraine supposedly bombed Russia with a bunch of stuff. So the mainstream media was going off on that. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I was like, oh boy, this isn't good. Because a week ago or so, Trump had sent some tweets out how unhinged Putin has been being, and how he's been. I'm like, oh boy, I immediately thought for some reason that we did it. I don't know why. I fell into some sort of media trap. But then I saw Alex Jones commenting on it. He's saying, listen, this is NATO, and they're trying to draw us into war. They're trying to mess up Trump's peace plans. Those are my two thoughts. So initially I bought into it. I was just like, whoa, this isn't good. What does this mean? I didn't get too excited about it, but I was just like, I know there's more to this story.
Right. Well, my initial thoughts were like, okay, here we go again. So we're looking at another Ukraine. We're looking at, something manufactured, because here's the thing, when it all comes down to it, you guys, these people that we talked about in the past who do all these, seminars and put on these events and coordinated practices, right? These are the same people who need war right now. There's a lot of upheaval, upheaval all around the world. A lot of countries are not having what their governments are trying to make them do. It all stems from the 2020 flu bug that was out there, right? And I'm trying to ease my way around some of these words for YouTube's sake, but people are fed up with what their governments are trying to shove down their throats. And these elections, there's a lot of elections that seem to have a lot of issues with them. If you look a little deeper behind the curtains, right? So with this whole Russia thing, a war is exactly what these people need. Okay, now they've been trying to make Russia react. That's what this whole thing was about. Now, if you're not familiar with it, did you hear how they did it, Outcast? I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah, with some big crazy mothership drone.
Yeah,
and then the mothership drone shot out a bunch of other little small drones, and then they started bombing the crap out of their fleet of jets, right?
Yeah, they were parked on the ground. So here it is, this truck. Now I've got a friend, and it's the guy that I told you in our group thread about a while ago, the private jet guy. Okay, that guy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so he owns a company that outfits and customizes shipping containers. Okay, shipping containers. I'm talking about the 53-footers, the 40-footers, the 27s, whatever it is. These are the kinds of guys that always they have really nice contracts, right, with the government. And with contractors. So of course he didn't do this stuff, but here's what happened, you guys. They took a big one of those tanker trucks, a trailer kind of semi truck with a container on it. Okay, one of those big containers. Now these containers are outfitted. They open up, big door slides open, and inside they line them up with all the drones. Okay, this is nothing new. This is not new technology. It's been around. You've seen it in movies. We've all seen it play out in movies and things like that, right? It was just it happened to play out in real life this time. So immediately when I heard this, I was like, you know what? That kind of technology and this kind of stuff here, that does not sound anything like Ukraine to me. Again, that sounds to me like somebody's trying to pick a fight. Somebody's trying to get Putin to react. Okay, so they're sending him all the stuff. Remember they were flying them drones at the Kremlin and all that stuff, and they were exploding on the building and all that stuff. All right, so they keep poking. Remember when we all went against the Minsk agreement and started creeping closer past the Minsk agreement that we agreed to? Yeah. Remember the whole 2014 when the United States went into Ukraine and overthrew the government and installed their own, NATO-friendly president puppet? Yeah, remember that? Okay, so I can't believe that Putin has been so patient up to all these years. But when they started going against that Minsk agreement again, he had enough. That's when he went in there and said, no more. We're stopping you guys. You're not coming any farther. So that was, 2 or 3 years ago when that started? All right. Now, mainstream media, they have a completely opposite propaganda smoke to sell you guys. Obviously, everybody here knows about that stuff, right? We all can see that coming. But we have these Western forces all together trying to provoke Russia into responding. What's that sound like to you? To me, it sounds like the way we got into Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin event, that whole fake thing. It sounds like Pearl Harbor here.
There's a definite pattern. It sounds like 9/11. It sounds like everything. And it's the classic escalation is the pretext to war. They're always trying to create the escalation. They need the catalyst event, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. I couldn't agree with you more, Jesse. You're dead on. It is exactly like that. It's just like, let's try to provoke these people into, it's like you take anybody, or let's say you take a dog and you put him in the corner and you poke it with a stick and you poke it and you poke it. And all of a sudden the dog snips back and you go, oh, see, the dog's aggressive. Dog's aggressive. Right.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to, that's
it's
what they're trying
the
to do to Putin. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Putin has shown incredible restraint from what I'm looking at from my view. He just looks like he's letting a lot of things roll because I like to think, I don't know, but I like to think he sees a big picture and he knows who's trying to go bring us into war. And he knows it's the same people that he kicked out, which was the bankers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We know those kind of people that run the central banks and all that stuff, and they call all those kind of shots. So he got rid of them, like you said. I'm glad you brought that up. So he got rid of them, but yet they're going to strike back. So he does have tremendous restraint against coming back because, like you just said, I think he sees the bigger picture of what's going on. Yeah, I think he does. They were overthrown in 1917 by those same people. The same people that we run around here doing all the color revolution nonsense and all that stuff. The bankers' kids. Yeah, the Bolsheviks and all that. Yeah, it's the same type of people. Same people.
And let me add something to that too, just for the heck of it. Most people don't realize that the Bolshevik Revolution was hugely anti-Christian. There was a genocide that took place against Christians during the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a minute. And then you look at I just saw a report today and they said that more Christians have been persecuted and put to death around the world in the last 3 years than ever took place in biblical times when the first Christians were walking. We like to, they did some brutal stuff back then too, but the amount of people being persecuted. Now let's go back in. Who are the Bolsheviks? I don't know. You tell me. And how do they relate to the banking system? I don't know. You tell me. I'm being coy for YouTube tonight.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But if you want to go do your homework and start connecting the dots, you're going to find out why this is an anti-Christian movement on top of it. And who's going to go to this war if they start a war? A bunch of Christian farm boys from the Midwest are getting shipped over.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And
for a big blood sacrifice.
Yeah, and I want to also throw into the mix too. So this whole operation of the Russia's Pearl Harbor, it's a covert, in my head, it's a covert proxy war, right? By the West along with the legacy media, mainstream media, and they're going to go along with whatever their script is. They're going to go along with it and to tell you guys out there in the public, on TV, on radio, how much we need to get into it. They're trying to drum the drum beats of war. They're trying to get us to say that, hey, we got to jump in here. Now, they're waiting for him to strike back. If Mr. Big P strikes back, they're going to jump for joy because they want war. Okay? They want the war footing. It's all propaganda that they're pushing forward. So I'm hoping that, and I don't know if anybody was killed other than they were able to hit and really damage a bunch of their fighters and some jets and some tanker equipment, things like that. So,
Music Lover commented that they're poking the bear, and it's that's no pun intended, the Russian bear. And also too, I want to add something I say all the time too, but don't forget, I think they're reading the algorithms. They're listening to what we're saying and doing. So they're waiting to see if there's going to be something to strike a chord to make us say, yeah, let's go to war.
Yep.
They need that. They need our rah-rah support for some reason in order to get us to go along with what they're trying to pull. And let's not overlook the fact that things are highly unstable between Israel and Iran right now. And so you've got a looming COVID hoax. You've got you've got potential war with Russia. You got potential war with Iran. There was something else I had in my mind too, but everywhere you look, they're trying to instigate something. They want to destabilize everything. They've got everybody on the edge of their seat with this crap, and they know it. And they're waiting to see which algorithm has the most bite.
All right. Yeah, they're definitely trying to kick it off. I mean, to me, if you're watching TV, which we usually don't, there seems to be a worldwide tension of war on TV, but not here in real life. I feel no tension of war when I go out and talk to people, and I'm working and I see people, I'm driving and doing what we have to do. So there is no tension of war in my life, unless you turn on that magic box on your in your living room. That's where you see that tension of war rising. And
so well said.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping that people, again, I'm hoping this reaches the normie ears, and just want to let you know, for me and Outcast, calm down a little bit. It's going to be all right. Okay. There's a lot that you're seeing on TV, like we've always seen. Our parents, they've been, exposed to all the propaganda just as well as we have. It goes back. It's the devil's creation, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get into the supernatural for a second here, and I'm just
please do.
I just feel like this got downloaded on me. We like to word it like the controllers, the elites, the Illuminati, however you want to word it, are trying to. They're reading algorithms, trying to find our hot button to make us scared, and then they when they find the thing that agitates us the most, that's the thing they're going to run with to do their next fear event, and the fear event is designed to herd us into their one world government takeover. All that's true. Okay. But now let's think about the unseen realms. No pun intended, Jesse, because you just sent me that amazing book called The Unseen Realm by Michael Heiser.
Yes. Yeah.
And let's talk about the unseen realms. So in the unseen realms, there is there's demonic forces, there are angelic forces, and there is a battle going on all around us. And I think that that fear that they peddle on the news, that fear feeds the unseen realm, demonic realm. They like that. So that they're trying to power up on our fear. So you have to get grounded in your love of Christ, in your relationship with Christ, and find the peace of Christ, the peace of the Holy Spirit in your heart to armor up against this ploy, because they feed off of fear. If they get the fear they want, then the next level, that's just the appetizer. Then they get us to consent to hatred and say, yeah, let's go over there and turn that land to glass, those people to glass, right?
Yep.
So now there's another level of demonic feeding that we're feeding into. And then when the bloodshed starts, that's a blood sacrifice in the land, creating principalities on the land of where it's like a stronghold of evil. I'm just throwing that out there in the hopper, but it just got downloaded on me. There is a component to this. We're looking at, Jesse and I are analyzing the news of the world, but there's also a news of the spiritual realm. And it's all intertwined, because the people at the top worship the dark entities that they are trying to feed. You see, it's a big cycle. We are children of God, and we have to walk in peace. We have to walk in love, and we have to tune them out. We have to be focused on the unseen, not what is seen.
Yeah.
Because what is seen is temporary. What is unseen is eternal. Sorry.
I really like
down.
that. Yeah, I really like that supernatural point that you brought there, because you know why? It helps paint the fuller picture that there is. It helps round out pretty much. I mean, you can apply that supernatural thing you just talked about to not just this Pearl Harbor thing, but to the whole flu category, to all the things of the past, all the events of the past, and the events they have planned right now that are coming. It's all tied. It's all wrapped together, kind of like the same thing. All that spirit energy, that dark spirit energy, comes from the same place. It just looks different from people who are delivering it to us.
And isn't it ironic that the people that control everything of this world, we're talking media, television, music, news, all of it.
Hollywood. Yep.
Hollywood, they have even my wife and I keep picking up on this. I don't care what movie we try to watch, even a comedy has this high stress level in it, always this anxious, like, how are they going to get out of this? Now, you might just dismiss that and say that's entertainment, but I'm telling you, there's just, this is being downloaded on me right now. God's given this to me right now. Fear, hatred, bloodshed. Fear, hatred, bloodshed. Fear. It goes in that cycle, right?
Like they always say in the news, if it bleeds, it leads. That's their lead news story.
Wow, Jesse, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, but who's peddling those emotions? It comes from one source. Okay. So that's why we need to turn. We need to. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know where people are out there right now, but you need to turn off the mainstream radio. Even I don't care how much you love your favorite musicians. You got to really, because there is a war of frequencies going on, and they are affecting how your mind works. I spent decades in hardcore punk, and I'm afraid to listen to it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I love that music. It
that 440 frequency. Yep.
It changes me.
It does. It changes all of our moods. You know what I'm saying? It's like, today I threw some music on. Guess what? I was listening to some Def Leppard today, some old school Def Leppard. And it completely changed my mind from what I was doing earlier. I played that song. It brought me back to a time when I was a kid, and it eased everything off.
Okay.
But that's that kind of music though.
It's changed.
It touches you all kinds of ways. No, I mean there was even music in those days that would make you turn crazy and nutty. I mean, think about the stuff Judas Priest was doing, Ozzy and stuff, all that stuff there. So it would get you going. You know what I mean? If you let it. If it's a lot of people are not conscious to what's going on, and most of that, again, it goes back to the same people, the Rockefellers, who ended up changing that 440 or music from the 432 frequency to the 440 because they knew exactly what they've been doing. Yes, thank you, music lover. They've been praying curses over master tracks for decades. Yes. Probably closer to a whole century now, even from the Christian artists without their knowledge. Yes, they do. They take the masters up from the studio when they know that these are going to be some major releases, right? Because they control, like you said, they control everything. They control the whole downstream of the music media, music industry, the radios, everything. So they know which records are going to be the big ones and influential ones and the ones that can be used by certain agencies, right? So all that stuff, I mean, we've heard of these executives. They take these back into the back rooms and things, and they pray over them. Now, listen, you can pray. People can pray to all kinds of spirits out there. I guarantee you, Outcast, they are not praying to the spirit that we always could pray to, Jesus and God. They pray something else over these masters. I mean, thank you, Shelley. It is all about frequency. And until we figure that all out, frequency has always been here, right? It's a major weapon that most of the people don't even know about, the weaponized music and all this stuff. So we can keep going on and on about that, but I want to go ahead, add it up.
Real quick. Just one last thing.
Yeah.
Go back to the confessionals, episode 61. And they have an interview with a guy named Zach King. And Zach
I remember him.
Yeah. He was a former satanic high priest, and he gives some insights into the music industry as well. So if this topic interests you, you can touch. I mean, it goes deeper than what Zach goes into, but he talks about how he was entered into Satanism, and it's very slow and insidious how he was introduced to it, and he became a high wizard. And the truth bombs that he drops will blow your mind. It will blow your mind.
Well, it's eye opening for sure. I just bought the Laurel Canyon book, the weird scenes in the Laurel Canyon. That's all that CIA stuff. I brought that up. A couple weeks ago. about the
recall.
what's that?
I'm having a hard time recalling it, but I remember the name.
Yeah, strange. It's strange scenes inside the Laurel Canyon in the '60s movement. The Birds, the Eagles, the Doors with Jim Morrison, all that. There was a whole big group that came out of there in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles. Ended up being a military base, Lookout Mountain. Well, anyway, I bought the book. I already had a copy of it, but I bought one for our brother Jim because he's laid up at home right now, and he's a musician. He plays in bands and all that stuff, and I wanted him to be exposed to how three-letter agencies take these musicians and take these artists and develop culture, change culture. And the connections to all the military fathers and parents of these kids that were, I say kids, but of the groups back then, the mamas and the papas. That's another one. There's so many of them that you would not believe. But anyway, I gave him that book. I recommend that book to you guys. Dave, what's his name? Dave McGowan is he died a few years ago, man. I would love to have him on, but I listened to him in other shows before. But strange scenes in something about the Laurel Canyon. Look that up and get yourself that book if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff and how they use culture and the youth to turn culture and steer it the way that they want. All right. So there's a lot of ties to military. And you know what? All this went down into an awesome neighborhood in LA, and none of the neighbors knew about it. And it's all inside this house. It's got tunnels. Jared Leto bought it.
I did hear about that place. I've seen pictures of that place. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, it's fenced just like every other $1 million house in the neighborhood is. But there's tunnels underground. There's elevators that go deep, and there's tunnels. It's a complete studio setup in this house, from production to lighting to audio, visual, everything they had there. Outcast, monitor room, sleeping, kitchen quarters inside this mega mansion, with tunnels underneath, and it's all tied to military intelligence. It's crazy. Get the book.
I'm sorry. I know we need to move on. I apologize, but I just got to get this out. If any of this to any of our new listeners out there think that this sounds ridiculous or wild, I want you to consider something here.
Yeah.
When you have millions of dollars wrapped up into a star or a celebrity or a musician, production time, records pressed, artists, artistic departments creating album covers, there's a lot that goes into making a star.
Yes.
You're going to make sure that they're going to make sure that they own that celebrity. They are not interested in that person going rogue, saying anything that they don't want them to say, doing anything they don't want them to do,
breaking the programming.
Right. So they need control over these people. Yes, it's about messaging from the three-letter agencies that they want to work through this program too. They work hand in hand. But you have to understand that any of these entities that have big money wrapped up in these celebrities, they want to completely control them. And then that's where we get evidence of like Kanye West and other people,
Britney Spears.
They're acting out. They're breaking because they've emotionally tried to control them at such a high level.
Yeah. Sorry, and that's why they had that whole 27 club back in the past, because those people were the programming breaks mentally around the age of 30 years old, somewhere in there. And,
wow.
So they have to break it ahead of that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild that the way they that they control these artists. And again, we see it all break out and plan out. So
I know we gotta go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and finish up.
All these people died at 27. Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, John Lee Hooker. I'm sorry, not John Lee Hooker. I'm sorry, Robert Johnson, who supposedly sold his soul to learn how to play guitar.
Oh, he said that. Yes, exactly.
What's his name? Jones, the guy from the Rolling Stones. What was Steve? It's not Stephen Jones. What was his name? Jim Morrison.
Yep.
Was it the Mama Cass? I think.
Mama Cass. Yeah, Mama Cass.
There's so many. Amy Winehouse. The list goes on and on and on and on. There's so many of these people.
Jim Belushi, all that stuff. Yeah. If you guys read the book, a lot of that's in there. So I definitely check that book out. So any final thoughts on that, Outcast, before we bring our guest in?
I've said enough. I'm sorry, Jesse. I didn't mean to derail you.
No, it's good. It's good. So let me see here. Our friend tonight, I'm going to do a little intro for our friend tonight. She's back again, you guys. Let's bring it over here, Outcast. And tonight, you guys, we have our friend Karla Wagner from AxMITax Michigan. She's back tonight to let us know the latest updates on her fight to end property taxes here in Michigan and what we need to do to help new farmers looking to start a farm get hammered by property taxes, and seniors get robbed of generational wealth that they've accumulated over their entire lifetimes. Karla is here to let us know when to go and vote no in your local town. I want you guys to go check out her AxMITax.org, AxMITax.org, which is a citizens ballot initiative to completely eliminate property taxes. And I think we have her on the phone right now. Karla, are you out there?
Jesse and Outcast, I am finally in my truck, just leaving. Where was I tonight? I was in Cassopolis, and wow, it was a bang up crowd. And we even had House Representative Steve Carra stop in, which was very nice. Very supportive of AxMITax, which is good to see that the legislators are getting on board behind us. It's going to make our job a little bit easier.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I want to know what was your main goal tonight with that group? What were you trying to bring to them? Were they familiar with you? What was your main goal with them?
You know, I would say 50-50. They either know about us and they're already circulating our petition, but they wanted to hear the presentation again so that they feel more confident when they are telling or explaining the idea or the petition to someone else. Because it's a difficult subject, right? Because we're dealing with 3 levels of government: the state, the township, and the counties. They all get a chunk of your property tax bill. So we need to make sure that people understand. This is all about education, Jesse. It's about educating the masses and telling them that the sky will not fall and the world will not end. If we don't pay property tax, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Oh, and that's I think the biggest education that they need. We have somebody here. So Sherry's Cleaning says, "Hi, Karla Wagner." So I think she works for you, knows you, or friends of you, or whatever it is. But there's some.
She is a circulating monster. She is a circulating fiend. Sherry does a lot. She is one of the captains out there in Genesee County, and she has made this her life's mission for the last couple of years to help us get this across the finish line. Hi, Sherry.
Awesome. Well, that's really good. I think she's been in here the whole time with us tonight, hanging out, waiting for you to come on. So I'm going to put your information right now up on the screen so everybody can see it. And that is Karla Wagner, AxMITax.org, AxMITax.org. You guys go over there and check that out. And Karla, I think you've been on here. This might be the 3rd, 4th time. I can't remember, but every time you're always bringing the fire. You're always on fire is what I'm saying. And
I'm angry. I'm angry.
Yeah. We had a good long talk last night, and I had something I want to ask you, and let me see where I put that. Yeah, right here. So the first thing where I want to start, and I don't know if I ever asked you this, but I don't care how brief you are with the answer. I just want to know, as a starting point for people that are listening to this right now, maybe you've never heard this before, but Karla, what year did our property taxes start? Because there was a time we had no property taxes. Okay. It was a bunch of politicians doing things, how we ended up here, how we ended up this way. So can you tell us about what year these property taxes started?
Way before our time. I think there was I believe it was 1893, Jesse.
Okay.
And before that, in 1850, some of the groundwork was laid. There's always laws and policies and things that are getting put into play that make it easier for more laws and policies down the road. I think it was really like 1893 where property tax became a thing here in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. And
a while ago.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now it's 2025 and we still have them. How archaic is that?
Well, the most frustrating part for me is now people have forgotten. A lot of these taxes that we're paying right now, I'm talking even federal taxes, a lot of these things are temporary. There's still World War II taxes out there that are temporary on the books, and here we are like dummies still paying it. These politicians keep layering, hoping that we forget in the future, and keep layering all these taxes. Oh, we need a tax for this now. We need a tax for this now.
And you know what, Jesse and Outcast, I don't want to leave you out because I know Jesse's doing the talking right now, but I don't want to leave you out of this conversation. Because,
thank you.
Because here's the thing. You know what? Those laws have been on the books for a long time, but our politicians change constantly when we elect them and unelect them, or they move on to something else or whatever. So how do we accomplish anything when somebody becomes an elected official and maybe they're in for 4 years, or maybe they're there for 8 years and then they move on.
Mm-hmm.
But that law that's been there 100 and some years, no one ever picks up the ball and says, is this something that should be changed? Maybe we should do something different, because those people, their time is much shorter than the length of these bills and how long we've been paying them. So number one, here's what I think. And I'm just saying, in Karla Wagner's perfect world, I want to go through the Michigan Constitution. I want to go look through every stinking law and bill in there. That would be my goal. I'm going to go in there and find out, are we still fining people for spitting on the sidewalk? Are we still making it illegal for horses to walk down the road? What other archaic laws out there are there? Because no one in 2025 should be getting their property taken away from them for I don't care what reason, right? The government has no right at any level to take someone's bought and paid for property away. How do you do that? How do people how do they reconcile? How do they make that make sense? I don't understand.
Yeah, because fancy suits and slick talking and fancy flyers. That's how they do it. People have goldfish mentality. They have memories of goldfish, about 15 seconds, and that's it, Karla. We need you for governor, is what I'm saying. This Sherry's claiming agrees.
We are trying. Who do we trust anymore, Jesse? There are people in Michigan's legislation that I consider friends, and I think I can trust them, but it's a small handful. And it's not that I don't trust them because they're evil or mean. I don't trust them to know their job. They don't, if they can't answer, I didn't go to college. I don't have an economics major. I'm a small business owner. That's what I am. I went to the school of hard knocks. But if they can't answer my questions, should they be making financial decisions for me that might take my house away? Oh, heck no.
Yeah.
I don't trust their level of knowledge. It's not that and I don't want to call them ignorant. I want to call them uneducated and uninformed. If they're not balancing their own checkbook, how are they going to balance the state's checkbook?
Well, when you're playing with somebody else's money and there's no accountability, or it's an endless supply, of course you're going to start paying, and then you're surrounded by a bunch of people in these government offices who are doing the same thing. It's like, well, welcome to the club.
But you know what, Jesse? You know what, Jesse? Here's my problem. Because I've brought this on myself, I am getting text messages and phone calls and emails from people, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because they're losing their home, they're losing their farm, they're losing their business. And you know what? Our elected officials, a lot of them, they stay in Lansing and they don't go home to their constituents. They don't want to hear what their constituents are trying to tell them something. We can't afford these taxes anymore. Do something. We elected you to do something to help us, and you're not. You've turned your back on us. You're listening to the lobbyists in Lansing instead of your constituents in your hometown that put you are today.
Yeah. Go ahead, Outcast. Say something to her.
No,
we're going to go back to the people.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying, Karla?
I'm sorry. No, go on. Go ahead.
We lost you a bit
sorry,
there, but
I'm
Cass has something. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's a good rant. I love your energy, and you're right. I'm trying to parse through in my mind what is going on here. I mean, on one hand, I would say, are these people, do they get to any type of power in politics?
I'm yeah.
Oh, can you hear us?
She's on the road, so I am going to bring up this. She sent me a bunch of graphics that we're going to bring up here. Like I said, she's going to be on the road for 2 hours tonight, so we got her for about an hour here. And she said she's going to be going through some farmland and all that, so we could lose her here and there, and that's okay. She'll come right back. Don't worry about it, you guys. If we do lose her, Karla, are you there? Or are you? Yeah, she'll call back. Yep, she'll call back. Okay. That's right. So
well,
go ahead.
Just some thoughts I've had. You know, it's like, do these people get into politics and power and then they become extorted? You know, the Epstein type stuff? Is it that's making them not do the work with other people? Or could be just as innocent as the lobbyists have got more money than their constituents, and that's what they're listening to. So they get there and they get kind of corrupted by the greed. There's that. And then there's another aspect of this I can't escape. It's us. We have been put on a treadmill of life to try to save and get ahead and, you know, provide for our families, and then they feed us all this envy culture of what we think we want, and people are trying to get the next best car or get the boat or get the place up. And then what happens is there's no capacity left for civics. There's no capacity in their mind left for caring. All they do is just go, well, I just got to get by. I just got to get by. And it's an endless treadmill. And I think her mission is very digestible to everyone, because as you start to think about retirement, you see this very common thing happen. Mm-hmm. Elderly people saved what they thought that they needed to save to retire. And next thing you know, they're on this really strict fixed income. Because why? The inflation goes up and up and up. And what they saved for, they thought they were doing good in their prime when they were making money. But now that everything costs triple of what it was when they retired. Yeah. When they first retired. So then you're taxing people who are already on a horribly fixed income. It's a recipe for disaster. It's really unfair, and it's not hard for people to grasp. I've talked about this with some kind of normie-ish people who don't really want to get too deep in this stuff, and they're like, hell yeah, income tax or property tax is wrong. So I think that she's got a really good platform here to spread this news, because people are very receptive to the idea. Everybody has an elderly parent or somebody they know that is really struggling to get by to live on their own. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then and if the taxes don't take the house, what do you got to do? Well, we got to put them in a home, and they put them in a home, and then they take the house anyways to pay off their stay in the home. The whole thing is rigged. And the fact that everybody's just working so hard that they can't do their homework to stand up for themselves is I don't want to give people a free excuse, but it's a bit of idiocracy, and it's a bit of, you know, the fact that they've been put on a treadmill, which is a modern day version of slavery.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, I'm going to put on the screen here, Karla. I'm going to put on the lose your spouse, lose your house graphic that you sent me. And can you hear me right now?
Jesse, I can barely hear you. I'm going to be out of this. I'm going to be out of this crazy Jippy stuff here soon. I'm just kind of in a no phone zone, but I'm going to be out of it soon. So go ahead.
So what I have on the screen right now is one of your graphics that says how rising taxes affect the elderly. Right there, you see the old hands held together. Lose your spouse, lose your house. Now underneath that, and I know you're driving. There's a graphic below there, and it has the dominoes falling, coming to take your money. Now, do you know this by heart, or do you want me to read this?
No, I kind of know it.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you asking me? Yeah, lose your spouse, lose your house. So what's happening? Think about it. We're talking about our senior citizens, right? My dad is 89. He started working in 1957. He retired 25 years ago. How much money do you think he made? What do you think his pension or Social Security looks like? My mom was a stay-at-home mom. So you know what? When one of them passes away, the other one will not be able to stay in the home that is fully paid for because of property taxes. Plus, they still have to live, right? And you know what, Jesse, what really boils me is that some of these township clerks and township treasurers, county people, they blame the elderly. Well, it looks like you've been living beyond your means. Oh, hell no. The government has been living beyond our means.
Yes.
The government is spending our money. They have a credit card that just says it's backed by all of the property taxpayers in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's not these people's fault that they are losing their homes. They're missing meals. They're skipping meals. They're putting, they're filling their propane tanks up a third at a time. They're canceling their long-term health insurance because they're just trying to live. They're just trying to live, and we're taking their house. The senior citizens have surpassed the veterans in homelessness.
Wow.
And that's not a good thing for either one of them. But veterans sometimes have other issues: addiction, suicide, depression, PTSD. So we don't like that they're homeless, but we kind of understand a little bit more about what might make them homeless, dealing with a world that doesn't understand what they've gone through. But these poor senior citizens, they've done nothing to justify their homes being taken away after they have fully paid for them. They've paid taxes. They've maintained them. They've done everything they've needed to do to maintain that home and grow their family and live there. And then they just get it pulled out from underneath them like a rug.
It is just infuriating. What I want to bring up here, let's go back to this here. All right. So here's the bottom half of your graphic here. Now, what it shows you guys, let me explain this out to you guys. So on the bottom here, there's like a little wooden house. All right. It represents what it does. On the other side, there are falling, pretty much wooden dominoes. It starts with the first domino, rising taxes. The second domino, spouse dies. Third one, loss of spouse's pension or Social Security. Now the stack is getting heavier and heavier. The next one is can no longer afford to pay property taxes. Now that domino is pushing into the foreclosure domino. Yeah. And right there before it hits your government, takes your home and your money phase, there's the hand that stops the dominoes from falling. And that hand is the hand of the AxMITax. If we get this done, AxMITax Michigan will stop that action from taking your home. Okay. We want to save your home. We want to save your wealth. So with this, with what you're doing, and I want everybody to go out there and sign the petition, sign up. You have people in your counties here in Michigan that are able to help you out. Sign this stuff. Get active to what you're doing. It's got to be local, you guys. Without local, there's nothing. It all starts local. But it's, to me, this is robbery. And this is just, and I think that here's another thing I want to throw in here. Some of these people that have owned their houses since the 60s paid off. They're paying very low taxes, right? What do you think government wants from that property there? They don't care who's in there, Outcast. They want a higher income coming off of that piece of land on that road. We got to get that old person out of there so we can get a young person in there that's paying triple the amount that old person was from the 70s.
Yep. Because think about it, Jesse. Every time a piece of property changes hands, the income, the townships and the counties get more money, right? Because the property value becomes uncapped, and instantly that little house that someone was paying $2,000 in property taxes is now going to garner the townships and the counties $6,000 in property tax. Very same house. Yeah. From yesterday to today, we sold it today. We closed on it today. And instantly the townships and the counties and the school districts and the libraries get a raise, right? Without doing anything.
Yeah. It's very, very infuriating. There's a comment on here. Sherry's Cleaning says Justin Barclay had a 90-year-old man, veteran, and he's losing his home. This morning, he's losing his home. 90-year-old veteran, you guys. How does that happen? I mean, I've talked to a veteran who is 100% disabled, who had to go to court to have the township and county honor his 100% disability property tax exemption. Right. Had to take them to court, even though he had all of the documentation that proved he was entitled to that property tax exemption. They wouldn't give it to him. I'm like, who do these people think they are? Do you?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Outcast. He's rolling here in the seat. Go ahead.
It's heartbreaking and it's infuriating, like you just said, Jesse. God bless you, Karla, for this fight that you're in. Man, we all need to get more involved with this because it's coming for us too. It's coming for everybody. And you can see the greed and the corruption at the very highest level of our local governments trying to just fleece everybody for whatever they can. You know what I mean? It never ends. And they're getting more aggressive. I mean, I don't even know how they go home and look in the mirror at night before they go to bed. How do they live with themselves to know that they're going to deny a 90-year-old guy who's completely handicapped that he doesn't get his exemption? This is pure graft and corruption any way you look at it. But they don't care because it's all a money grab.
Why are these cities and townships and counties, why are they buying properties? Why are they landlords? Why are they buying land and building apartments? That's not what the government is supposed to do. The government is supposed to protect our right to make money.
Yep.
They're not supposed to be in competition with us. They're not supposed to be the builders and the landlords and the golf course owners and bookstore, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's provide a library. Okay, well, you just put 3 small business bookstore owners out of business.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, let's have a zoo. Let's have a county zoo that has a food court. Okay, well, you just put those other small business restaurants out of business.
Right? Yep. Over in Orient Township, there's a Great Lakes Athletic Club, Outcast. You probably know where it's at, over on Baldwin. That's been there, privately owned for decades. Just last fall into this spring, guess what? The township of Orion bought that Great Lakes Athletic Club. Now it's owned by the government.
Where in the heck do they get the money, Jesse? And who said that they were okay with them buying that with the taxpayers' money? Why don't they give the taxpayers' money back?
I doubt that any of those questions were asked, Karla. I think people love the charisma of the superintendent. Oh, he's a great guy. I know him. I see him at the bar every day. Hey, he's a good guy. Congratulations for buying the athletic club now.
Well, I hope the homeless people can live in it.
It's
when
insane.
When they become homeless, I hope they can live in it.
It's very infuriating. Now, one question that I always get, and I have a lot of friends that are in, let's say, fire and police. Okay, so there's a lot of those people, and let's clear this up for them. That's one of the biggest concerns that people have is like, look, how are we going to pay for the roads? Well, it was done before. We can do it again. How are people going to pay for police and fire?
By not paying for pickleball courts and splash pads.
That's a start. And athletic clubs.
There's a start, right?
And athletic clubs, yeah.
So, Jesse, if we in
so
athletic clubs, because think about that. Why? This is what we need. The government is supposed to provide us services that serve and protect us, protect our property, and protect our rights. That's it. That's all they're supposed to provide for us, right? So why are they going off on the tangents of doing all of this other crap? Don't build me a pickleball court and then tell me I need to vote on a millage that will increase my property tax to pay for fire service. Because that's what they're doing. They're taking the tax dollars that we've already given them and they go and build a pickleball court. And then they turn around and go, well, if you don't vote yes on this millage, you won't have fire protection. What?
They're always playing on emotions and heartstrings, and that's where these millages are so very important. And I'm against every single millage that comes up because they're always trying to sneak something in there, Outcast. It drives me nuts.
I want to answer your question, Jesse, for the police officer. I was a volunteer deputy. Do you think I wanted to fund my police? Oh, heck no. But you know what? I love my police and I love my fire and I want to fund them.
Yeah.
So what does our petition do? It demands that the state share a portion of state income tax, alcohol, marijuana, and tobacco tax. And it also demands a bigger share of sales tax to be sent down. We already get a portion of the sales tax constitutionally given to the townships. We now want a bigger chunk of the sales tax bucket, a chunk of the state income tax, alcohol, and marijuana tax bucket to be sent down to the townships and the counties. And then we want to protect that funding so it can be used for essential services only. Don't build me a splash pad when I need a police car. Right. Don't build me a pickleball court when I need fire. We're providing for the funding, and then we're protecting that funding so it can be used for the essential services our government is supposed to provide for us. Now, people will, you know what? County parks aren't included as essential services. Do you pay to go to a state park? Yes, you do. They're going to make you pay for it automatically when you renew your license. So what? You know what? Maybe the counties need to charge $2 for someone to go to the county park. That's consumption. Maybe the county needs to charge people a membership fee to go to the library. That's consumption. Charge an admin fee, an admission fee, which they already do for zoos and museums. That's consumption. Yep. Shouldn't be paid by people that don't use the service.
There you go. Again, it comes back to that point where when you have somebody else's money and a never-ending supply of it, do you care about quality or content that's good? No, you don't. You have so much money at your convenience, you're going to start buying pickleball courts and gyms and splash pads and all this crazy stuff. And then you're going to buy really fancy ads and flyers and brochures to put out to the people and say, hey, vote for me again because here, I've got you all this stuff. Now you don't have to pay to go into the park. That I like what you're saying about the consumption stuff. If there's somewhere I want to go, I want to pay for it and gain access to it. If I don't want to go there, then don't charge me for it.
Exactly. You know what? Nobody's paying for my gym membership.
Right.
How come I have to pay for your library entertainment?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what? That's what I mean. And because it's 2025, for goodness sakes, you have a library on your phone. And almost everybody has a fucking phone. You have a library on your phone. And then people go, well, I go to the library to use the copier or the printer. Well, yeah, real seriously? You have to build a $4 million library so you can go and print something off? I don't think so.
No. Okay, let's jump in there.
It's horrible what they're doing.
You know, you guys are hitting home with me big time, and I'm going to tell you an anecdotal but true story that just happened this weekend. My wife and I went for a walk one night, and in close proximity to our house, they put in a splash pad. And my wife says, who's paying for that water? I was like, I don't know. And then we walked a little bit further, and we got the splash pad last year or so. We walked around the corner of this park, and there's new pickleball courts. Literally, the things that you brought up, Karla, are exactly two things that we saw. And I'm like, check that out. They just put a new pickleball. They took out, they used to have a rink where they had for roller hockey. They took the rink out, and now we got pickleball. But then
because roller hockey was a fad, and then they took it out and they replaced. So how much money did you pay for the roller hockey arena or whatever you want to call it? How much did you pay for that? Oh, and then they just ripped it up, and then they made you pay for a pickleball court, and in 5 years they'll be ripping that up and replacing it with something else.
Now let me wrap this up. So then we continue on our walk, and we walk through our neighborhood, and our neighborhood, I'm noticing a disproportionate amount of houses in disrepair. And I'm like thinking, what is, man, is this, and prices are higher than ever in my neighborhood. To buy a house, it's expensive, right? And I'm looking and I'm going, and I'm trying not to be judgmental. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe some of these people are slackers and they don't want to take care of the property. But I'm thinking, nah, I think it's more like people can't afford their properties. So you got my neighborhood is turning into a ghetto while we got a brand new pickleball court and a brand new splash pad. And it's in the neighborhood. Yep. But my neighborhood's turning into a ghetto because these poor people can't afford their property taxes because they're so high. Right? It's so crazy.
When you fix your house up, they assess you more. They charge you more. Yeah.
It's funny. We had that.
Where's your incentive? You don't have the money, and then where's the incentive to do it anyway?
We've been having that discussion too because we have old 1950s awnings on our house. We're like, well, maybe we should update the look of the house with some more modern awnings on there or something new, fresh. And then we realize if we do that, they're going to come and raise our taxes. So we're discouraged. We're discouraged to make our neighborhood look good. It's unbelievable.
And then, in Detroit, who's running for governor? Mayor Duggan in Detroit. You know what? In Detroit now they have a blight tax. Right now they have a blight tax. If you don't take care of your property, we're going to charge you more. So how do you win? How do you win?
You don't.
Rigged.
I mean, they don't want you to win.
Win. And you know what? This is what Steve and Representative Steve Karla, when he was there at my presentation tonight, I applaud him because he stood up. He really hates corporate favoritism, which property taxes plays a huge part in corporate favoritism. Hey, we're going to give that corporation $1 billion and no property tax for 30 years. But that corporation over there, they don't get any money and they have to pay property tax. Okay, that's his big beef. But here's what he said. He goes, we can either start to constrain the government or the government will put all of its constraints on us. And that is exactly what's happening.
It's so infuriating. Now, okay, so we talked about a lot of problems. There are a lot of problems out here. You know, my libertarian mind is just going crazy here because, I mean,
I think
things. Go ahead, Outcast. I see your hand.
You gentlemen, this is what I think.
Okay.
You know what? I firmly believe that the elimination of property tax for everyone, homes, farms, businesses. I'm not talking about corporations. I'm talking about the 902,000 small businesses registered to do business in Michigan, right? 902,000. Those are the businesses we're helping, not corporations. They can pick up and leave whenever they want. Small business owners can't because they're invested in their communities. They go to the church, their kids go to the school, they're this, they're that, whatever. They can't just pick up and leave like these corporations can't when they're not making enough revenue, right? But I firmly believe that the elimination of property tax statewide, we might have to make some sacrifices. We might hit some bumps in the road, but it'll be the best thing that will ever have happened to Michigan in a long, long time. Seriously, we will bring business and people back to Michigan because there's no property tax. That will generate more state income tax revenue, more sales tax revenue, more real estate transfer revenue, more lottery, more of everything. We're going to generate more revenue with less taxes. And I think, you know what? It's going to take time and it's going to take a sacrifice of things to get to that point. But once we get to the other side of that, it'll be an economic boon for not only the state of Michigan, but for everyone that lives here and does business here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it makes sense, Outcast, because what she's saying is less money going out of your pocket. That means more that you're going to have available to spend in your local town, in your local area, and to help, buy from your local gardener, your local restaurant, your local gas station, your local the owner of that little diner down the road, or even the neighborhood wrench, right? The guy that's working on cars, right? I'd rather take my car to that guy, have a personal relationship with him and the money, than take all that to a dealership. Yeah. Let us have choices here. But if there's more money that is able to stay in our local towns, the better our town's going to be for that. And Outcast, I mean, where's your thought on that? What's your alignment on that?
No, absolutely correct. I think you're right. I mean, I was telling you before we started the program that I'm in sales and business has been tough for me because my customers aren't busy. And why is that? Well, that's a whole nother topic, but overall we're looking at a state of affairs where the cost of everything just keeps going up and up and up, and people just don't have money to get the essentials that they need. They feel like their back is against the wall. And what does that do? It completely stagnates the economy. So you're right. Any extra income that people get, they're going to get, they're going to go, I'm going to go get those new glasses I need, or I'm going to take care of this thing that should be taken care of in my yard. I mean, it goes on and on. What could be done? So I think I'm not disagreeing there. Now I do have sort of a grim conspiracy theory, and I don't have the receipts to prove any of this. This is just, I'm going to throw this out there in the ether. Maybe some of our listeners might want to sleuth this out, but I have a really sneaking suspicion that all of our local city municipalities have become completely aligned with not just major banks, but the major bank. And that major bank has become the number one property owner in the United States. So the cities do their part to to push people out of their homes prematurely so that this giant bank that pretty much runs the world can buy as much real estate as possible and make the American dream unaffordable for new people. Therefore, when they go to sell us the idea of a smart city, it'll be that much more appealing to Gen Zs or anybody else because they can't even imagine affording a house. There's young people that even if they do scrape it together to buy a house, they can't buy yard equipment. They can't maintain their property. They're not prepared for lawnmowers and weed whippers and all the things you need to keep your property up. So I see, I'm taking the 10,000 foot view here, and I see something very big and insidious. I'm not saying we can't fight, and we should, because Karla's fight is so noble and it makes so much sense to me. And we need to stop this. It is, I mean, let's take even veterans out of the equation. Anybody that is in their golden years should be secure and safe in their home until they're ready to leave or they're unable to take care of it themselves, right? What's happening is good people who worked very hard and paid into this big system are being impugned and kicked out of their homes and left to the wolves, left to live in their car in a you know, at your local truck stop. This is a humanitarian crisis that we're on the brink of. And like I said, I have a suspicion, if we look closely, these banks want all the property. They want as much as and they're driving the prices of everything up too, because the more properties they buy, then people think, oh, the houses in this area are hot. And they go from being like my house. It was $60,000 when I bought it 27 years ago. Now my house is, you know, $200,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems beyond normal inflation to me, but what do I know? But man, I'm telling you, there's something bigger here. And I think the cities are working for the big banks. They're working in unison. The cities are getting rich and fat, and they're pushing people out of homes. And the big banks are gonna gobble up property and push people into their smart cities. That's my theory. But what do I know?
Yeah, no, I think Outcast, what you're saying, you know, and this is how I look at that, because people always, if there's no property tax, there's going to be very few foreclosures. Those big, what you're talking about, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, they like to buy things for pennies on the dollar. If we have no property tax, we have no foreclosures. If there's no foreclosures, everybody's going to have to pay fair market value. Now, you as a homeowner have the right, who do you want to sell your house to for fair market value? It won't be the counties or the sheriff's sale. It won't be the counties coming and taking your property and then selling it for pennies on the dollar to those investors. Those investors are going to have to pay fair market value just like everyone else. Right now, we have the counties to blame because they're forcing people out and then they're turning around and selling those homes to those investors or to the counties themselves or to a developer that they know that will pay whatever they want for those houses to do whatever they want with them. When we maintain private ownership of our property, we can give them all the big middle finger and say, you're not taking my property and I'm not ready to sell it. And when I am ready to sell it, I will be making the decision on who's going to buy it from me. And I will be making the decision on what price I'm going to ask for it. It's not going to be, there's not going to be any property for sale in Michigan anymore. It's going to be fair market price. That's the best thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So over here on the Rumble rant, Cheryl E says, this has currently happened to a friend of mine up in Roscommon, just passed away almost a month ago. She's now being faced with losing the house. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, we can go on and on, but Sherry's cleaning down here, Karla. She keeps putting up on the screen that, you know, she's in Genesee County and she can have people contact her. It doesn't have to be in Genesee County. Any county can do it. She has companies calling me trying to buy her house that's not for sale. You know why? Because they have some master plans, future plans for all these municipalities, all these townships and cities and all that stuff. And they know what's coming down the line. Again, like you said, Outcast, with these Agenda 21 cities and all that stuff, they know what's coming down, the smart cities. So they're targeting, hey, we need on a map, we need this whole group right here. We need all that. You guys better go out and start throwing them some high numbers. And, you know, they're trying to turn these neighborhoods into something of the future. They don't want you there anymore. They want the future's for them, not for us. So
well, and in certain areas, they're starting to put a moratorium on where you can develop. It's like they're starting to say, well, you know, it used to be you could own a piece of property, and if you had decent enough soil, you could put septic systems on them without needing sewer lines. And now they're saying, yeah, no, we're not going to let that happen anymore.
No
Why?
more freedom.
They don't want farmers to be able to sell their property to developers because the state wants to own that farmland. If the state wants to take away our farmland, we'll have no more land to grow food on. They're going to put solar panels or they're going to put wind turbines on it, and they're going to force us all in closer to a urban area, 15-minute city type thing. They don't want the rural sprawl anymore, right? They don't want you living out there anymore.
Right. Yep.
And take that land away from you.
Okay, go ahead. I have you sent me a few more of these graphics, and I'm going to pull some up. We have a homeschool one, a renters one, and we have about the America's wasteful spending one. Which one would you like me to pull up first here?
Let's talk. I think it's very important. They're all important, but let's talk about the homeschool and Christian and the private school parents, right? So what a lot of people need to realize, these public schools are grossly overfunded, which is why we have a state rep that is writing a bill to eliminate the state education tax off our property taxes, okay? Which is good. It's going to save us a bunch of money. It's going to take money away from the state and the public school system. Why? Because they're grossly overfunded. But people, you need to realize, look, if you're homeschooling your kids and you're still paying for public schools. If you're sending your kids to Christian school and you're paying private school tuition, you're still funding public schools. How can the public schools need that much money? How can Christian schools or private schools work on donations and tuition and be just fine? And they educate the kids a heck of a lot better than these public school systems do. But the public school systems keep saying, we need more money. My goodness, they're getting money from grandparents. They're getting money from single people. They're getting money from Christian school parents. They're getting money from homeschool parents. How can they need that much money? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is what just happened the other day. My oldest grandson just graduated from high school, 18 years old. His school district, he went to Christian school, but the public school had a 30-year millage. And, you know, I looked at him and I said, you'll be 48 years old before that's paid off. You're going to be saddled with a debt he didn't vote for. He didn't vote for that millage, but he's going to get stuck paying for it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Plus all the other millages that we've saddled these kids with. We're saddling. These young people can't afford to buy a house. Why? Because we've voted on millages and bond proposals that they are going to have to pay for.
Yeah. It's so infuriating that people can't see past that magic. Oh,
it's like, I don't care if you want the convenience of a library 2 miles from your house. You just saddled every kid in your county with so much debt, they will never be able to buy a house.
Yep. And, you know, I always say this, too. It's just like, you guys, you have to understand the presidential election should not even really matter to us. It's got to be these local elections. These are the most important things. Where you live, the township where you live, is the most important. Forget about who's the president right now. Okay? It's all about can you control your city council? Can you control your supervisor? Can you control them from doing things that you don't want done? Because that affects you every single day. Whatever the president's doing over there, he's got powers that they should not have anyway. Any president. Okay? So let that go for now. Think about this as being so much more important because locally, you're in their backyard and they're in yours. Okay? This is where you have to have full control of what goes on in the area and neighborhoods where you live. So when it comes up here in 26, we're going to have all these all the votes. Way even less than half, just a fraction of the people are going to show up to vote. You know why? Because it's not the big presidential vote. Let's talk about that, Jesse, because this is something else that I have said is like the fact that our property taxes are so high right now. I'm gonna lay that in the lap of the Republican Party. Why?
because they have been telling us for the last several years, don't get an absentee ballot. Go and vote on election day only. Well, guess what? Everybody else is getting an absentee ballot, and they know when to go and vote yes on those stinking millages that raise our property taxes.
Yeah.
If we knew when to go vote no, more of these millages would have been denied or, wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
And our property taxes wouldn't be nowhere near as high as what they are today.
Okay, so hold on, Outcast. Did you hear what she just said there? And this is so important. And it's a tactic that the left, they're so organized. They're so good in being organized and all this trickery and magic and tomfoolery and all this nonsense. We are not good at that. We're good at working and doing other things, right? Here's the thing. The tactic with that absentee ballot, and I'm glad you brought it up because we need to adopt that. All of us need to get the absentee ballots again because just like you said, Karla, the absentee ballots are going to it's going to remind you that there's a vote.
Yes. And you know what? It's rural America. It's rural America that's been staying home because we don't know when to go vote no. But we're the ones that use the services the least.
Yep.
Ask a farmer where's the closest fire hydrant that he's paying for. Ask the farmer where's the closest library for him to go to. Ask the farmer where, how quick are the police going to get out to him?
Yeah.
And yet, because he's got the largest tract of land, he's paying the freaking most of the taxes.
Yep. It's infuriating.
So what we need to do is we need to tell everyone that's listening to us tonight, you have to go online or call your county clerk and sign up for an automatic absentee ballot. So you will be alerted 3 to 4 weeks before any election that there's going to be something that's going to affect you in your township or your county, a millage or a bond proposal that you need to be aware of so you can go and vote no and lessen your property taxes. And you know what? You can, Jesse, I work the polls. You can bring those absentee ballots in on election day and feed them into the tabulator yourself. So if you think they're going to cheat with your absentee ballot, you have full control of it from the time it hits your mailbox to the time you bring it to the election poll and insert it into the tabulator yourself.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, Karla, before you go here, you need to tell everybody what they need to do right now. For people listening, let's give them a final, what action can they do? Because I know this is going to hit a lot of people right here where it counts. All right. Right in the head. What should they do?
We need everyone to go to AxMITax.org, AxMITax.org, find the volunteer form, fill it out, and request petitions to be sent to you, or we will put you in touch with your county's captain, and they will deliver petitions to you with instructions. They will train you on how to gather signatures. We need 600,000 signatures, and they only give us 180 days. It's astronomical, but it's not insurmountable. We can do it.
Yeah.
And when we get enough signatures, it goes on the ballot. When it goes on the ballot, we can vote to change the trajectory of Michigan.
I love it. When is the final? You said 180 days. When is that?
We started April 1, so we're just 2 months into it. We have 4 more months to go. September 26 or September 27 is our 180th day. But you know what? If we turned in 2 million, it wouldn't even have to go on the ballot. If we turned in 2 million signatures, it automatically becomes law.
Okay.
Think about that.
Perfect. Okay, so what we need to do is have you on the show more the rest of the summer as we get closer to the deadline. Let's find out where you're at, what's going on. I wouldn't even mind having a few of these county, what do you call them, captains, to come on the show and let us know, hey, we need people in this county. I mean, we could do a ton of spinoffs to help get this done here. Now, this is in Michigan. You know, we have people all over the world that are listening to this right now. This can be done in your state, you guys. So if you're in a state that's not Michigan right now, listen, still visit the website, contact Karla or somebody over there because they can help you set up this exact thing in your state. This has to happen.
And Jesse, we're doing that in Ohio right now. Leonard Gilbert and Brian Massey were coming to they came to some of my presentations, and now they just got it past their attorney. They have a little bit different system than what we do.
Okay.
But their attorney general just gave them the okay to go ahead and start petitioning and circulating petitions. And they are looking for total elimination of property tax, just like we are here in Michigan.
Awesome.
Governor DeSantis in Florida is looking. You know what? People go, Governor DeSantis got rid of income tax. Yes, but it didn't help. So guess what? Now he's back to try. Now he's got to get rid of property tax to really help the people in the state of Florida. So let's just cut through the chase. Let's just get the property taxes gone and done off our properties. Getting rid of state income tax does not save anyone's home.
No, it does not.
It has to be property tax.
Yeah,
It has to be property tax.
Yeah, it's got to be in order, people. Property tax first. That way it saves your wealth. Okay, it gives you money, allows you to keep the more money that you can to do what you want. Okay, you can, with that money that you save in property tax, then we can start looking at that income tax stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, Outcast. Any final thoughts? Any final words of encouragement there for Karla Wagner tonight?
Karla, God bless you, sister. Your passion and your fight for this topic is it's palpable and it's inspiring. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your tenacity. And I don't say this lightly. I mean, I'm not just giving you lip service. You truly inspire us all, and you're bringing to light a very simple. It's not a complex thing. It's a simple thing, and it makes all the sense in the world. And it makes us all ponder: how did we get here? Who's steering the ship, and how morally correct is this? And the answer is obviously it's not morally good at all. I think we should be judged as a people based off of how we treat our elders, and that's just the elder part of the story is just part of it. But man, this is a noble fight that you're in, and I'm glad that you see evidence that this is something you can obtain. I just want to encourage you the best I can and just say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you're doing. I think that you could be drastically changing people's lives for the better in the very near future. So thank you for coming on our show. Thank you for allowing us to highlight you, but thank you for all the hard work that you do behind the scenes that people don't even understand. But just thank you for your energy. You're the best. So God bless you, sister, in this endeavor. God bless you.
I you know what? I need all the help I can get, the blessings I can get, because I have been a reluctant. I don't want to be a public speaker. I don't want to be doing this. I want to be home with my family. I want to be doing my business. I want to be doing that. But yet I feel that God has called me to speak up for those that can't. And because I think he gave me the knowledge by making sure that I did all of these silly things that I've done in my life. I never stayed in one career. I jumped around and I did this and I did that and I did this. But I think that was his way of preparing me for this. You need to know all about all of these different little things, Karla, so you can stand in front of these people and figure out what we need to do to make their lives better. Because we're not living. We're existing. We're working to pay taxes, and that's all we're doing. No one's life has gotten better, and it's 2025.
Yeah.
How can our lives be this horrible, right?
Right.
Well, with
money.
Well, with the work that you're out there doing, Karla, you're inspiring a lot of people. You had the fire within, and you're setting fires all over the place, and people are picking up with their own torches, and they're running with it. And, this show here, we're just another outlet. We have social media that we need to share together. We got to get all these people that are out there that are starting to understand and figure things out that, hey, if you can keep more of your money because it's your money, I mean, the better off it is for everybody. I mean, it's just, it's wild to see what's going on here. But I really like that people are opening up their minds and listening and taking what you are out there peddling, not peddling, but preaching, but evangelizing for. Okay.
Offering help. I'm offering a way for them. I'm trying to help them help themselves. That's what I can do. I can only help them help themselves. They have to do it. I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. I'm not the governor. I can't do it by myself, but I can help them. I'm trying to give them the education that they need to help themselves.
Okay.
And I think what it really comes down to is, you know what, guys, once we do this, we're going to be unstoppable, because when people figure out that it is in our power to change the things that we don't like about Michigan, we're gonna, let's do another one. Let's do another citizens initiative petition. Let's do something else. Let's say we want to go back to paper ballots in Michigan. Let's do it with a citizens initiative petition.
Yep.
Let's screw these Dominion machines. We don't want those.
Right.
Let's go to hand ballots. Let's do it through a citizens initiative petition. Let's go to part-time legislation. Let's do it through a citizens initiative petition.
Throw it all back. Let's throw it all back the way it used to be and the way it should be. That's right.
And it's we, the people, you know what? If the people that we're electing aren't able to do it or won't or can't, then we say, well, you know what? We hired you to do that job.
Yep.
You're not doing the job the way we want you to do it. So I guess we'll have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, I like it. Got to take the bull by the horns, you guys. Do not be afraid. The fight is upon us, and we can win this. So I just want to thank you so much, Karla, for coming on and exposing more of the truth. And we got to hook up with whatever your social media people are over there. Mostly you. Send them to me. We can hook up and do a lot of these shows like this right here. Need to be broken up in segments, easily shared segments, so people can take it on their phone and say, here, listen to this part of it, or listen to this part of it. Shows like this here that we've done, that can be handled and given to your people, shared all around. Even the videos that you do when you're out doing those live events, people need to take a recording of those, cut them up into small pieces, segments that people can easily share. That's part of this whole battle too. Social media can win this for us.
Yes. I love it. And I appreciate the opportunity that you guys give me to do this and and what you're doing, because you alone you don't need me to do your show, right? You're doing a show to help us understand what we should be doing. And that's, people like yourselves, we have to be, thankful for what you're doing, because you're giving us the opportunity to turn around and try to help other people. And you're helping people by doing that, that's what we need. More people willing to stand up and say, you know what, we're going to do a show like this. This is what we're going to do. We're not just going to be mainstream media. We're going to tell people how to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
We need to be doing things the right way and doing the right thing.
Awesome. I like it. Well, listen, God bless you, sister. All right. Drive safe the rest of the night. And this whole time I've had AxMITax.org up here, so people can go visit that. And Karla Wagner, you guys, from AxMITax.org. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll talk to you probably tomorrow on the phone or something. All right. We'll see you, Karla.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks a bunch. I love you.
Good
both.
night.
We'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Much love. Good night. She's fire.
Jesse,
she's straight fire is what I'm saying.
She is. I'm going to tell you, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that God has shaped her for this in the way that she saw it. And if you remember in the beginning in my prayer, I was saying sometimes you feel like you're going through something difficult or you don't know why it's happening, but at the end of the day, it's God is shaping you and hardening you and making you into something. Well, that's a perfect example. She had all these career changes and she didn't know what her mission was, and then one day God revealed it to her. And and if God's ordained her for this, nothing can stop her. But she does need our help. So at the very least, to our listeners, please if you think of it, please pray for her in this mission that she's on. We're talking about lots of elderly people and young people too, who really could use some help. And this is going to be the help that they need. It's huge.
We're talking about generational wealth stuff here that's being stolen from people, right? We're talking about futures of these young kids coming out of high school. All this stuff is is in play right now. So it's wild. But we have to coordinate. We have to ground level, grassroots coordinate. We got to bypass the mainstream media. and do it the way we do it right here. Guerrilla underground stuff. That's what I'm saying, Outcast.
Amen. Amen.
Yep. So listen, I'm going to take this off the screen now because we have passed this. We're 9:07 is what I'm saying, Outcast. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. Let me double check a couple of things because I do have TD Jakes in the title. I might have to take that out and replace it with some other stuff that we talked about today. Maybe can we do the TD Jakes stuff for next week? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. No big deal. It wasn't a big thing. It was just I saw something that was interesting. It got my attention, but no,
All right.
No emergency on that.
If you guys don't know who that is, he's connected to the whole Diddy stuff. So it's dirty, it's gross, it's nasty. So
well, he's a pastor.
Yeah, exactly. That adds to it. So, like I said before, I wanted to do the supporter shout outs at the end of the show. So we are here at the end of the show, Outcast. So let's switch over here and talk about our supporters. Do you have anything before I start reading these names? Do you have anybody that you want to thank or okay?
Go ahead.
What I have here is on the screen, we have Buy Me a Coffee because last week, remember, first week is of Buy Me a Coffee. You guys can do that. I joined up and for the show, there you go right there. You can also support us, monthly supporters on Subscribestar, Buzzsprout, PayPal, Patreon, and Buy Me a Coffee. And also buy the Super Chats. You can do Super Chats on YouTube. We can do the gold pills over here on Rumble or on pill.net. And Rumble has the Rumble Rants. So if you guys want to kick in like that, you can do that, and we really appreciate it. If not, we really need you guys to share. Tell your friends about the show, all right? Share this right here that you're watching. Share if you're listening to it later in audio. Share that to your friends. Say, hey, listen, these guys are they're all right. These are kind of the guys I want to play horseshoes with, go fishing with, something like that, right, Outcast? So big thank you for our monthly supporters right now. Manny Espejo, Jill Bark, Ryan Mansfield, Carmen Rosario, Chad Geyer, Michelle Yerkes, Music Lover, Heidi Human, Pastor Eric King, and Belinda King, Cheryl E., Bonnie Moriarty, Biffer Mac, Steph Me, Fire Doug, Deb Santos, Dave Baxter, Capo, Ms. Melody, Isabel from Tennessee, and Joey Costello. Thank you guys all for being monthly supporters out there. And if you guys want to do that, all the links are down below. You can do that and check it out. If not, again, big thank you. And yeah, go ahead, Outcast.
Special shout out to Fred Cadoni Jr. Hello, just checking in and showing some support before I hit the hay. I always listen to the podcast the following day on Spotify. So he just checked in to give us some love. So
that's
there's
awesome.
A shout out to Fred Cadoni Jr.
Hey,
thanks,
Fred. Thank you so much. You know what, Fred? He's always sending me DMs into the Dangerous Info, and we correspond back in there. And there's some stuff. I'm not sure if he sent it yet, but you have to read, Outcast. We have to. It might be for our Mystery Pie stuff. It might be for that. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of cool. So thank you, Fred, for letting me know about what you're doing. But, if that story is ready yet, I haven't checked. I want Outcast to see it for our other podcast, you guys, which is Mystery Pie Podcast. You guys might want to go check that out. So we have come to the end of the show, Outcast. Look at that. Almost on time. It's so hard to get, to be on time. But, hey, we're working on it. We're not quitters is what I'm saying, Outcast.
Practice makes perfect.
Right. Practice does make perfect. And we're out here having a good time. So here it is, you guys. I want to say a big shout out and thank you to our guest tonight, Karla Wagner from AxMITax Michigan. AxMITax, AxMITax.org. Go over there and support that. Sign up if you're in Michigan and learn more if you're not in Michigan. You can go out there and do it for your own state. Also for you, Outcast, being out there and, all the wisdom that you bring and all the prayers and all the good backbones, what I'm talking about. It's awesome.
Thank you,
everybody. Jesse. All you guys in the chat rooms that are watching live right now, thank you guys so much for participating. I see the chats are getting more and more full. Hard for me to keep up on a live thing here. So I know that our music lover, Jack Pine Savage, and Trusty Turnip over there, our live chat moderators, are helping out with us doing that. So it's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to release the scratch right here on pill.net. Right now, you guys have fun with that. There it goes. We're scratch and released. What else? Oh, if you guys are listening right now and you like this, please go over and give us a 5-star rating and review. iTunes, Spotify, CastBox, or any of the other, the 10 million podcast apps that we're on. They're out there. We will get to the testimonials, or what do they call it, Outcast? To read on air.
Testimonials good.
People.
The
reviews.
feedback.
That's it. The feedback and reviews. Yeah. So if you do that, we'll read them on air. All right. Please consider becoming a sponsor of the show if your situation fits. If not, tell your mom and dad about us because we're out here doing good stuff. All right. Listen, live every Monday night, 7 to 9 p.m. ish. And next week, you guys, we have Charlie Robinson for the Macroaggressions podcast. You guys go check it out. He's gonna blow your face off next week, is what I'm saying. It's gonna be good. Hey, we love you guys, don't we, Outcast?
Yes, we do. God bless everyone.
God bless you guys. Stay dangerous, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Shalom.
Shalom. All right, you guys. We'll talk to you guys later, and pay attention to our social media out there. Please join it and follow us because who knows? You never know who might pop up in there. Spilling some good stuff. We'll talk to you guys later on tonight. Later on. Have a great week. We love you guys. God bless and stay dangerous.